Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Chip Miller, President and General Counsel of the Institute for Justice. The Institute for Justice is a national public interest law firm. We work nationwide to secure constitutional protection for economic liberty, private property rights, school choice, and free speech. We have offices in 6 states. We're headquartered in Arlington, Virginia. We're delighted to be here today to announce the opening of our 7th office here in Miami. In conjunction with the opening of this office, we are also filing a major lawsuit to defend the economic liberty of vendors. Not only the vendors in Hialeah that we represent, but also vendors and hardworking entrepreneurs across the state who find their dreams of earning an honest living denied by arbitrary government interference. I'm now very pleased to turn the microphone over to the director, the executive director of our Florida chapter, Elizabeth Price Foley. Elizabeth.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Price Foley, and I'm the Executive Director of the Florida chapter of the Institute for Justice. This morning, the Institute for Justice Florida chapter filed a lawsuit against the city of Hialeah, seeking a declaration that its vending law is unconstitutional. Specifically, we're trying to vindicate the constitutional rights of vendors to pursue their lawful occupation under the Florida Constitution. And there are 3 specific provisions of the Hialeah law that we're challenging. The first one requires vendors to stay 300 feet away from any brick and mortar store that sells the same or similar merchandise. The only reason to have this kind of provision is to protect brick and mortar stores from healthy competition by vendors. That's not a constitutional reason. The second provision that we're challenging is a provision that requires that vendors stay in constant motion. And this provision applies whether the vendor is on public or private property. So even if they're on private property with the permission of the property owner, they have to stay in constant motion. This is not only arbitrary, it also is unsafe. The vendors that we're representing want the opportunity to simply stand still, sell, and be safe. The final provision that we're challenging is a provision that prohibits vendors from placing any supplies, equipment, or merchandise on property for the purpose of facilitating a sale. And for example, our named plaintiff in this case, Silvio Membreno, is a flower vendor. And this provision makes it illegal for Mr. Membreno to set a bucket of flowers on the ground near his feet. We believe that vendors have the right to place their product on the ground in order to sell their product. If they can't store their merchandise, if they can't show their merchandise, they can't sell their merchandise. The cumulative effect of these provisions is to make a vending license in the city of Hialeah a worthless piece of paper. That's why we're hoping to vindicate through this lawsuit the right of the vendors to pursue their lawful occupation free from arbitrary and unreasonable government restraints. But I'm sure, as all of you know, Florida is unique, I guess, in being a hotbed of unreasonable and arbitrary regulations. So the city of Hialeah is not alone in this. This is just the tip of an iceberg. The Institute for Justice Florida chapter hopes to vindicate the economic liberty of all Floridians, regardless of where they are, and this is just the beginning. I'd like now to introduce the litigation team that is helping with this particular lawsuit. We have Robert McNamara from our headquarters, and we also have next to Bob, Claudia Murray, who is with our Institute for Justice Florida chapter, who's also helping with this case. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Membreno. He'll be speaking to you through the use of an interpreter. After he finishes speaking, we'll open it up for any questions that you might have. Okay, thank you.
Buenos días. En primer lugar, rendirles las gracias a ustedes por estar aquí presente en este primer caso que estamos llevando de Hialeah.
First of all, I want to thank you all for being present in this first case that we're bringing forth from Hialeah.
Para mí es algo muy importante llevar este caso, pues mi trabajo lo que se pretende es valorar el esfuerzo, lo que muchas veces con calor, lluvia, frío, nosotros estamos ahí dispuestos a ofrecerles un producto a la gente con mayor facilidad.
This case for me is very important because what we're doing is, with a lot of work and sometimes under rain, heat, all kinds of difficulties, we're offering a quality product for the consumers.
Como ustedes pueden y han leído en lo que hemos estado haciendo de estos casos, lo que llevamos a cabo es que nos permitan vender libremente en un lugar, que no tengamos que mover cada 10 minutos de un lado para otro, que no nos den esas restricciones, sino que nos apoye.
And what we want to do, what we want here is we want to sell freely. We want to perform our work freely and not to be in a place where we have to be moved from one area to another every 10 minutes and be subjected to restrictions.
El mensaje para los legisladores y para el alcalde de Hialeah es pedirle que nos apoye a nosotros como vendedores ambulantes, que valoren nuestro trabajo, nuestro esfuerzo que hacemos, que es un trabajo digno de que nos valoren tal por lo que hacemos.
And what we want to ask from the legislators and the mayor of Hialeah is to give us support. We have to value this activity we're doing, and we are working with effort and with dignity.
Y con esto pues finalizo rindiéndole las gracias a ustedes, periodistas, y a todos los que están presentes para que nos apoyen en este proceso que llevamos. Gracias.
And finally, I want to thank everybody here from the press and everybody that is helping in this process we're pursuing. Thank you.